What's up, guys? If you don't know who I am, my name is Omar Petahome, and in this video I'm going to show you the exact methods that I followed to lose 25 pounds in 90 days, all while working 40 plus hours a week and taking college courses. Let's get into it. Alright, so just like I said, this is how I lost 25 pounds in 90 days while overcoming injury, being a college student, and working full time. And so I did this by using mindset shifting, flexible dieting, along with reverse pyramid training. I was able to do this without giving up foods I actually enjoy, without training 6 to 7 days a week, without sacrificing school, work, or my social life, and without relying on motivation. So, before I get into all the sauce, I want to share with you guys how my journey was before things changed. And so, for years, if you're like me, you've been pretty consistent ever since high school with the gym or in college if you started lifting then. And so, back then, I lifted at least 5 to 6 days a week. I tried to eat pretty clean, but every time I looked in the mirror, it just felt like my results didn't match my effort. And it was frustrating knowing that I was so dedicated to the gym, I still felt so behind. Then as time went on, I started dealing with some very persistent injuries. So knee pain, shoulder pain, I had back spasms. And so at the time, my performance within sports dropped, and so did my confidence. It sucked. And this was a period of my life where my physical and mental health went into free fall. It really did. Looking back on it now and doing some research, I was experiencing many symptoms of mild depression. There were moments where I would sit alone, breaking down in tears, whether it was in the Walmart parking lot or curled up in a ball in my room, breaking down in tears, asking my creator, why is this happening to me? What did I do wrong? Why can't I catch a break? And I've never been a lazy person, and I searched extensively for solutions. And so I spent over 2 years trying to fix my own body after being failed by specialists, PTs, a traditional route. I tried everything dry needling, massage therapy, none of it worked. And so, after trying so many of the things that were supposed to work, at one point I genuinely thought I would never be able to enjoy sports or exercise ever again, as going upstairs would actually hurt. So, at that point, life was looking pretty bleak. As time went on, I graduated from high school, but college life added another layer, right? Late nights, drinking, you already know the deal if you've been in college or you're in college. So these short term distractions that felt good in the moment left me feeling more disconnected afterward. And even though nothing was technically wrong at the time, mornings somehow still felt both heavy and hollow. And so I would snooze my alarm. What else? Sometimes skip class, not because I was sick, but because I didn't feel aligned with where my life was going or have the desire to take on most days. And so from the outside, I looked totally fine. If you were someone looking at me or you knew me, but on the inside, I felt like I was drifting physically, mentally, emotionally, you name it. And so that's where I was before anything really changed. And at this point, I had gone longer than I ever had in my life without feeling like myself. I was working a job that didn't match my capabilities, so I slowly began to see myself as less than I actually was. And so I was getting rejected by girls left and right whenever I tried to ask any of them out. And I was so disappointed by what I saw in the mirror that I would just straight up avoid them at all costs. Like, it was crazy how much I hated looking at myself sometimes. And to top it off, at this point, I weighed 210 pounds. So I was up almost 30 pounds in 2 years, even though I was pretty active at the time. But eventually, there was a bright spot. I rebuilt my body to the point where I was finally ready to face what I had been avoiding in the mirror. There was just one issue: what diet actually worked? So at the time, I thought I had just to eat less carbs and practice portion control. And eventually, oh yeah, I'll lean out. And after a while of failing, I just decided, due to my genetics, that, hey, I was just not meant to be lean. And while I was researching, I came across flexible dieting. And so at first, I didn't believe it, right? Oh, you can eat carbs, you can eat whatever within reason and lose weight. What? But over time, I realized how it could be the answer to the true fat loss I was seeking. So I finally decided to go all in on losing weight and give it my 100% effort. So I learned how to track calories in a way that gave me freedom and not so much guilt. Without the extremities, I made sure to lift just around or at least 4 times a week and do 75 minutes of zone 2 cardio broken up however I did it. And I just made it a non-negotiable to get at least 10,000 steps a day. And so, in doing this, I created a system that worked for me so I could still make progress while working full time, taking college classes, and still having a social life. And pretty soon, I actually found myself actually making progress and losing weight. So here's me pre-lock-in. Man, I can't believe it was like that, but it was. And then this is how it was post-lock-in. About midway towards the end of the cut, it was super fun. Once you understand this feeling, it's pretty cool to wake up and just make that progress. And so it was insane. Like, I was losing fat and I was building muscle. I was getting stronger at the same time. I was still able to eat stuff like pizza, ice cream, along with foods that I actually liked, that I didn't have to force myself to like. And I was still losing weight. And so each and every day, I was gaining more and more confidence within the mirror. I was even excited to get out of bed at 4 a.m. for my job at the time, which sucks for most people, but I still had the energy and the confidence and just the excitement to take on my days. And so it was great. And before I knew it, I had lost 25 pounds in under 90 days. And I had completely changed my physique from skinny fat to sculpted, lean, and muscular. I had completely smashed any limiting beliefs I had before and proved to myself that I could do it. And so I had made a huge physical transformation, but the biggest transformation for me was my mental transformation, along with the mindset shift I had throughout this process. And so finally, I had stopped avoiding mirrors and started feeling confident in my own skin again. I rebuilt trust in myself and being able to follow through on what I said I would do. I developed this consistency in my new training, nutrition, daily routines. Like, even when I didn't have motivation or I didn't want to go do a leg day, I still did it, and I made it work even when life got in my way, and it did during this process, okay? And people that go through a fitness journey or a transformation understand that it is part of a process, but those that succeed, like me, we understand that that is just what happens, but how you react and how you let it affect you is on you. And so I also showed up better in my work, my relationships, my responsibilities. I became that guy who didn't restart every few weeks. I didn't say, oh, I'll start on Monday. I just would adjust and I would keep going. And most importantly, I became someone I respected and am proud to be. And so these are the systems that made it stick. First up, flexible dieting. It's just simply tracking your calories so you can eat foods you enjoy while still losing weight. And for most of my transformation, literally all you have to do is just focus on hitting your calorie and protein goals. If you can just do that consistently, you will transform. This freedom is what allows you to stay consistent with this kind of diet long term without burning out, as opposed to people who want to go keto and cut out carbs and think that's going to work. How long does that last? If you've done it before, what, 1-2 weeks, maybe for most people it's 2 days. Okay. And the thing about it is that tracking calories isn't forever, but it allows you to understand real portion sizes. So many people think that they're having 1 cup of rice, but they're having 3. And so again, it just gives you skills that you can take throughout your life to navigate nutrition. It's not just some one-off fad diet that's a one and done. You're actually going to learn this way about food, a way that's actually valuable and that lasts. And so next up, reverse pyramid. So it's just simply doing your heavier sets early instead of last, basically. Most people start with their lightest set and they work up, but by the time you get to your heaviest set, right, usually the one set that's really going to challenge your muscles, you're already pre-fatigued. And so this allows you to hit the heavy set with all of your strength and capability at the beginning of that set. So exposing your muscles to different rep ranges while you're doing this as well, but in a way that works, you're getting strong first and then you're working down the pyramid. And so this is going to just prevent strength plateaus and you're going to make results every week. I was making strength gains every single week with good form. It's very legit. And again, if you're doing it right with the right program, you can be very efficient with your sessions and still get the same amount of gains with less time in the gym. Okay? And thirdly, and this is honestly the most important at the end of the day. Now, yes, the diet was great. It's great to get strong, build muscle, super important, but the mindset is what holds most guys back. All right? So I'm going to talk about this. First of all, you have to stop relying on motivation. Motivation is fleeting. Motivation is inconsistent. It does not show up when you really need it. Okay. And what you need to do instead, like I did, was build systems. All right. So you need to switch, first of all, from the all or nothing mindset where you try to do this really perfect, strict routine and try to do it 100%. No, you need to switch to the 80% mindset. Can you do 80% of your workouts over the next 90 days? Can you stick to your diet at least 80%, right? Your calories, at least 80% over the 90 days. Can you do that? Can you hit your 10K steps a day over the 90 days, just 80%? If you can do that, you're going to win. And when you think that way, you're going to stop beating yourself up so much. You're going to be less hard on yourself. You're just going to get it done. You're going to see every single day, if it's over 80%, it is a win. No, period. That's it. Lastly, is the most important thing. And this is going to be very powerful if you can understand this concept, okay? It is called delayed gratification. And if you don't know what that means, it just simply means delaying short-term pleasure for long-term gain. When you're trying to get in shape, right? You're trying to get a six-pack, you're trying to get shredded, you want to prove to yourself that, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds, I want to do it. You're going to get invites, you're going to get opportunities to stall your progress, right? You're going to get invited to go out and drink, go to a place that's very unhealthy, or just be in a situation where you're not going to sleep well, your recovery's going to get messed up. And you're going to have an opportunity to say yes, and you're going to want to say yes. But when you say no to those opportunities that bring you that pleasure in the moment, that is how you practice delayed gratification. And when you do that multiple times over and over and over, and you're doing that in light of a goal, you're going to reach that goal way faster, okay? If you don't understand this concept now in fitness and you're not able to practice it, you're not going to be able to go far in life. I'm going to be honest. A lot of people that don't understand this concept are usually the people that never end up making it very, very far. They end up being very average. And if you don't want to be average, you need to understand this concept, because it's this one thing right here holds so many guys back from reaching their full potential. So that's the number one thing mindset-wise, is delayed gratification, being able to say no in protection of your current goals. So this is what I did to really make everything stick. So next up, my lifestyle, right? How it is now. So first of all, of course, my confidence. I don't avoid mirrors anymore or hide behind certain clothes. I wear whatever I want, no matter how tight. I don't care. Like, I honestly spend too much time in front of mirrors because I'm admiring all the hard work. And once you go through this transformation, you're going to understand, once you get there, that it is amazing to just constantly admire and give yourself a pat on the back. Because being able to go through something like this, once you've done it, you build so much self-respect within yourself. So I'm able to move through the world with quiet confidence, not arrogance, but again, just so much self-respect within myself, right? Next up is the freedom I have now. I can enjoy life, train with purpose, and still make progress. All right. My schedule works with my goals instead of against them, and vice versa. My schedule and my routine, they work in unison. Next up, my discipline. I do what I say I'm going to do, even when motivation is not there. Consistency feels normal now. All right, not forced. This discipline has spilled into my work, my relationships, and my daily life. Guys, when you are in shape, everything improves of your life. I've never heard anyone say their life didn't get better once they were in shape. Seriously. Okay. Or anyone that says their life got better when they were out of shape. It's not a thing. Okay. Getting in shape affects every avenue of your life, because the person you have to become to get in shape bleeds into every aspect of your life. It's that simple. And so this is where my journey has taken me. So my journey took me from here. Someone who trained their ass off consistently every single week, but I was never happy with what I saw in the mirror. I was actually very disappointed. I was someone who was relying on short-term gratification, right? Always just feeling like I was getting off track and just struggling to follow through on personal promises. I went from that for someone who took control of my body instead of avoiding the mirror and just pushing it off and pushing the pain down inside. I am now someone who has built discipline, actually, and it doesn't depend on motivation to get stuff done. And now I train and eat in a way that actually fits my life, and I've become someone who keeps his word and respects himself. And so I have an opportunity for you. And let's be real for a second. You do not need more information or time. If that was the case, you would have already achieved your goals, because someone out there has half your knowledge, half your resources, half the time you have, yet they're already achieving, or they've already achieved their goals. So let me tell you something though. What if you could build a physique you're proud of and take control of your life and stay consistent through real accountability in a community that actually pushes you forward? And I promise you, this would change your life. So first of all, who is this for exactly? This is for guys who want real confidence. Okay, they want to be proud of what they see in the mirror, and they're not chasing validation from girls. Like, they just want self-respect. They just want that belief in themselves. This is for guys who are action takers. They understand that knowing more isn't the issue and are ready to execute consistently. This is for guys who feel stuck or directionless. They're putting in effort but not seeing it pay off. They need more structure, not more information. This is for guys who want results that last, okay? They're not interested in quick fixes or extremes, rebounds. They just want something that lasts and that is actually sustainable. This is for guys who are busy. but they're serious and want to still make progress. Okay, they're willing to prioritize their health regardless of their schedule, whether they have DuPont shifts, whatever you are, if you work crazy hours, but you're still willing to put in the work and get to where you want to go. This is for you. This is for guys who are ready to change. All right, you're ready to commit to becoming the best version of themselves. You're ready to go all in and finally make a change, not just say something and then do the opposite. This isn't for you if you quit when things get hard. And so if you expect constant motivation or instant results, you're going to quit as soon as things slow down, which is exactly when most progress is actually happening. All right. Again, it isn't for you if you aren't coachable. If you believe you already know what you're doing, nothing's going to change. All right. Being coachable is what allows blind spots to be corrected and real momentum to build. And this isn't for you if you do not make this a priority. Results come from what you protect time for. Everyone says they don't have time is they're BSing. People make time. If you care, you make time no matter what. All right. So if fitness is optional or constantly postponed, it will always stay inconsistent. And lastly, if you avoid accountability, this isn't for you. All right. Because without accountability, excuses feel justified. Real change requires owning outcomes, even when circumstances aren't ideal. And so this is why you keep failing. Number one, you don't have real accountability. You lack having someone who sets standards, all right, and doesn't let you disappear when things get uncomfortable. Number two, food is running the show. You use food just for comfort and never for fuel. You need a framework that separates your emotions from eating and teaches you how to control them without guilt or extreme. Thirdly, unsustainable dieting. You do not need another meal plan to follow perfectly. You need a flexible system that adapts week to week and fits real life, that is realistic, so you don't get burnout and go and binge and do crazy cheat meals. Fourth, training without structure. Your workouts lack structure and effectiveness. You need structured training with clear progression so effort actually turns into results. Fifth, you have poor time management. All right, you're waiting for the right time, maybe New Year's, your birthday, whatever. The spring, winter arc, you're just waiting for a perfect time. No, it never comes. You make that time. You need a plan that works inside your schedule and removes that decision fatigue. Six, you have no clear plan or guidance. You don't need more information, man. Again, you just need clear direction, feedback, and someone who's already walked the path and is ready to go all in on helping you get there. So these are the 6 principles behind losing weight, keeping it off, and building discipline within my one-on-one coaching program. So, number 1, identity and mindset shifting. Fat loss does not fail because of food or training. It fails because of identity and habits. So within the program, you're going to understand how to identify these habits and thought patterns keeping you stuck, separating emotions from decisions around food and training. You're going to be able to build that real discipline and that develop that real confidence by consistently showing up for yourself. Number 2, nutrition control and flexibility. Restriction creates short-term results and long-term rebounds. You're going to learn how to eat in a calorie deficit without cutting out foods you enjoy. You're going to understand portions, calories, and macros without being an obsessed gym nut. You're going to create a diet that you love and can do forever that is for you. Up next, structured, progressive training. Effort without structure does not compound. And many of you can relate to this because you've been going to the gym 6 to 7 days a week and you still look the same or worse than last year. You'll understand how to train with structure instead of just random guessing workouts that you bring from TikTok every single day you go to the gym. You're going to learn how to progress key lifts and movements consistently over time that actually move the needle with your physique and strength. And again, you're going to be able to do all this without wasting time in the gym doing 2.5-2-hour workouts. Fourth, systems for consistent execution. When systems exist, guys, progress continues even on bad days. And so you're going to understand how to create daily and weekly systems that remove the guesswork for your life and schedule. You're going to be able to stay consistent on low energy days or days where life happens and you're super busy. You're going to be able to do this by reducing your decision fatigue around training and nutrition, and just making execution automatic instead of just so effort-based. And fifth, to me, is honestly so important. It is the brotherhood and accountability within my program. One of the biggest lies in self-improvement is that you're supposed to do it alone, or it's supposed to be the lonely stage, or da-da-da-da-da. No. In reality, progress actually accelerates when you're surrounded by men who are chasing the same standard, holding the same line, and refusing to let each other slip back into old habits. There's a saying, and I want you to remember this. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And this applies right here within this aspect of my program. So you're going to be able to train and improve alongside like-minded men who understand the grind and the discipline it takes to make that change. You're going to be able to build momentum not through your wins, but through shared wins, shared struggles, and shared standards. Along with that, you're going to be able to replace the isolation associated with self-improvement with connection, competition, and mutual respect. On days when motivation is low and your excuses feel loud, man, the brotherhood becomes that difference. You're not just showing up for yourself, you're showing up for the group. And over time, the environment forges stronger habits, sharper discipline, and a version of you that doesn't fold under pressure. And lastly, relentless accountability. Results don't come from motivation, they come from execution. And execution improves when someone is watching, tracking, or calling you out when you're slacking. Look it up. It's called the Hawthorne effect. It's very true. So you'll get clear expectations around training, nutrition, and daily standards, along with consistent check-ins to remove guesswork and eliminate the excuses. You'll also get direct feedback when something is working and a plan to fix it. All right. This isn't just some soft accountability. It is structure. It is pressure applied in the right direction. The kind that forces follow through, builds self trust, and it turns that discipline into second nature. And of course, you get direct access to me by being able to have me in your corner throughout your transformation. So you're never left guessing what to do next. And so when questions come up, progress stalls, or something just doesn't feel right, you can reach out and get clear, straightforward guidance based on your specific situation, not just some generic advice. And secondly, personalized support. Beyond just access to me, you will receive consistent support and mentorship designed to keep you moving forward even when motivation dips. Because progress, at the end of the day, guys, it's not linear. Real progress is not linear. There will be days when discipline feels harder, where your motivation's down, and that is where structured support and accountability makes that difference to keep you moving forward. And that's what separates winners from losers. The people that succeed from the people that say, I'll try again next year. And so, the next steps. If you're finally ready to lose the weight, keep it off, and build a body you're proud of alongside your full-time job, if you're in school, relationships, girlfriend, wife, whatever you have going on, and you want to do this without wasting hours in the gym or kitchen, book a call with me down below in the description. We're going to talk through where you're stuck, what's actually holding you back, and if the program is a good fit for you. Regardless of what you do, if you take what I talked about from this video and put it into action, you will see results. Most guys are going to watch this, they're not going to do it. But for those of you, the very few that actually do, you're going to see results. Please remember, knowledge is not power. Knowledge is only potential power until it is met with action. So take the knowledge that I presented to you in this video, actually put it into action. Don't just watch this, put it down and go watch something else, and don't take action. Take action and execute, and you'll see results. Do something about it today. Not tomorrow, not next week. Do something about it today. I'll talk to you soon.